I don't know how to tell you this other than being straight up with you. But if you are gossiping, you are French kissing with the devil. Let me tell you why. Gossip is a poison that we willingly drink. Our culture celebrates, even though we know the pain because we have been at the crosshairs of someone else's tongue. Gossip is French kissing with the devil. The devil, he comes to rob, kill, and destroy, as scripture tells us, but gossip does the same thing. Gossip separates. Gossip brings division. Gossip brings pain. Gossip is a blow dart shot through the vocal cords of our life into victims that you don't even know, or maybe you do. You see, gossip, family, is French kissing with the devil. The devil comes to rob, kill, and destroy. But when we start to gossip, what does we do? What are we doing? What are we doing? Rob, killing, destroying, talking about, belittling. Talking junk, giving misinformation, continuing the lies, even though you've been at the whipping post of someone else's accusations. You know what it feels like. But yet, we come in a day and time where our culture, we celebrates gossip. Gossip is French kissing with the devil, using your tongue to just like he uses his tongue, interchanging your DNA with his. Instead of speaking life, picking up the torch and carrying the death from the emotions, the well-beings, the opinions, the identity, the image of someone else. Gossip is dangerous. I have a hard time respecting gossip, and honestly, I have a hard time respecting people who gossip. Be honest with you, it's hard because I ask myself and said, man, if they're willing to gossip about the person about this person, how many people are they gossiping about? And then I ask myself, are they trustworthy people? Are they honest people? Can I trust with my information? Why should I trust them? What's going on with me? You know what I'm saying? Gossip is dangerous, and I believe that gossip is a character flaw that every single person needs to give attention to, because it is a slippery slope that you can find yourself stepping into, and you don't even realize you're doing it. Ask yourself, you need to stop dating the devil and French kissing. You need to stop trying to get to second base with the enemy by intertwining your tongue with his and realize that, hey, hold up, no. I'm giving attention to my words and to my character. Gossip is poison. Remember, I had a dream. I'll never forget this dream. And I was at this watching these people at this dinner table, and they were dressed all nice, like through the from the like very super fancy, right? Fine china, everything around the dinner table, and it was this long table, and again fancy ware, and so but there was only one bowl at the head of the table, and everyone else had a spoon. All right, and so they sat at the table and they prayed, they blessed the meal, but yet there was no food being there. And so what happens, a person at the front of the table threw up into the bowl. This is nasty, it's a dream I had. Threw up into the bowl, right? Everyone is not like, oh, that's nasty. They're just looking at each other, laughing, smiling, you know what I mean? And threw up in the bowl. And then after she threw up in the bowl, she took the spoon beside her and started eating the throw up again. All right. And then after she finished the throw up, she threw it back up into the bowl and then gave it to the person beside her. That person took the same spoon without not missing a beat, having the same conversation, and ate the throw up of the person beside them. And once that bowl was empty, threw the vomit back up into the bowl and gave it to the person beside him. And that whole same thing is repeated over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And I remember thinking about, man, that is a great example of what gossip happens. It's eating the vomit of someone else's. It's joyfully and willingly consuming the vomit of someone else's opinion. So let me tell you, I want to give you some red flags, because this is something, I don't know if someone telling you this. We live in a culture and a day and time where it's celebrated, but doesn't mean it's right. It's wrong, and I believe it's belittling. I believe it's a huge character flaw. And I believe it's a sign of it's a sign that we need to give some attention to. So let me tell you, there's some things you need to ask yourself this. Okay, number one, do you have the expressed permission to share that information? Do you have, from that individual that you're sharing about, do you have their express permission to talk about it? And this is the number one excuse. I'm people in my office stuff all the time, and sometimes we'll talk about this whole thing, gossip, and we'll discuss it, whatnot. The number one reason that they'll tell me this, that when I bring this up to them, they'll say, well, everyone knows about it anyway. Or they'll say, well, it's true. But that's the permission slip you're giving to yourself to interact in that sort of behavior. But that doesn't mean it's right. Just because it's true doesn't mean it's become that out of your mouth. Just because everyone else may know doesn't mean that should be the fruit of your lips. Okay? So ask yourself, do you have that person express permission to share? So when I'm in a conversation, if I'm in a confidential conversation with somebody and they tell me information, I ask them, I don't assume, I ask them, do I have your permission to share this with this person, or to talk to my wife about this, or to do this and that? Do I have your permission? And if they say yes, I'll talk about it. If they say no, I don't talk about it. You know what I mean? But it's with their express permission. All right. And so anyways, do you have their express permission? You're like, well, I'm a grown man, I don't need a permission. Well, listen, I believe in sowing and reaping. And so don't complain when it happens to you, because it will, right? Here's number 2. This is what you need to know. This is how do I word this? Does it make you feel better when you gossip? Does it make you feel better? Listen, if talking about somebody, belittling somebody, crushing somebody, speaking death to somebody, you maybe not pull the trigger, but are you handling the bullet? You know what I mean? Does that make you feel better? Because if that makes you feel better, family, that's a sign of your own low self-esteem. That in order to elevate yourself, you got to push someone else down. You grab the phone. Girl, did you hear this? Yo, did you hear about what's going on? So and so and this. You know what I believe? Some reason why we like talking about other people's problems is because we're not man enough, woman enough to face our own. So it's easier to give attention to someone else's conflict, someone else's issue, because at that moment we're not giving attention to our own problems. And then the person gossiping will say, well, at least I don't do this, so I must be better off. Does gossip make you feel better? Listen, I hope this conversation hurts. I hope your toes hurt, because I'm trying to be honest with you. Because it's time for us to change this world. It's time for us to change this culture. And it's time for us as humans, as humanity, to get rid of the hate, to stop continuing the cycle of pain, and to talk to each other in a way of respect that we deserve it and we need to be. All right? And which brings me to my last point. Remember what it felt like when you were gossiped about, when you were talked about. Remember what it felt like. It didn't feel good. Because gossip's like playing telephone. That whole game, that game you played back in elementary school, and you tell the teacher will tell someone at the top of the line. By the time they get to the end of the line, has absolutely nothing to do what the teacher originally said. That's what gossip is. Do you know what that felt like? You were like, who said this? You finally hear information coming back to you. It's nothing remotely close to what has happened. You didn't do that. You didn't say those words, but yet the flaw of your character, the opinions of other people regarding you has already been tainted. Listen, you know what it's like. You know what it feels like. So why in the world will you get involved in that manner of behavior? Gossip is French kissing with the devil. So why are you trying to date him? Listen, give some attention to your words. YouTube. This is a channel of motivation. This is a channel of lifestyle. This is a channel, big and tall. But this is a channel, family, where like I said, what is this? It's an oasis of hope in a desert of peace. And sometimes to find health, we got to give attention to our own sicknesses. And so I pray, I hope, I desire for you to no longer go to the medical cabinet of your emotional closet and pull out this thing called gossip that makes you feel better for a moment, but harms you at the end. Will you find a more holistic approach of living life? You will medicate yourself with these temporary sensations of releasing endorphins and dopamine by talking about someone else, but you say, you know what? No. Do I really need to say this? Is this really important? Do I really want to continue this cycle? Do I want to sow and reap and deposit this hate and reap it later? No. It's time to give attention to it. Because gossip is French kissing with the devil. And it's about time that you stop dating him. Well, that's my video for today. And I know this is maybe a little honest, and I hope it, God, all I am, which is what you get. And maybe you don't feel like, well, this is only gossip, it's only a conversation, but I'm telling you this, the same person that will gossip with you, you best believe they're most likely gossiping about you. Okay? And so it's a character flaw that needs attention. And so I hope that you break the cycle and that you learn effective conversation